Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Oh, excited about wrapping up the week here on a day where we're going to get some rain again, finally. The weekend will be wet as well, and we all deserve it. Feels like the heat wave is finally breaking a little bit. Got out this morning and enjoyed trying. I've had this little issue with my right foot. If I kind of accidentally kicked my bed like 7 weeks ago doing laundry, just where I just nudged it, like basically walked right into a bedpost with a pinky toe.
Oh, it's always the pinky toe.
It is. The pinky toe's like the most annoying toe out of the 10 you have, especially when you crush it. And I crushed it a little. I've kind of been limping a little for the last, not the last like 2 or 3 weeks. That's why I got out today in the rain. Did a little more than a power walk. It felt really good today, Drew.
That's good. That's good. I actually, walked in the rain like to my car. Didn't even, try to hurry to try to stay a little dry. Just, it felt so good for it not to be 1,000 degrees. I didn't care about getting wet, and it's going to be a high of 85 tomorrow in the River Valley. That's
Thank
right.
Goodness.
85.
Thank goodness.
Have better words ever been spoken in the English language than a high of 85? I don't think so, because that's like the perfect temperature to me. Whether it's sunny, whether it's partially cloudy, or even if it's raining, 85 is perfect. It's perfect to play golf in, to sit by the pool in, to do anything outdoors. It's warm, but it's not too hot. I like 85. It's like the perfect temperature.
I can think of a few other words that are a little bit better when they're strung together. Yes, we will acquiesce to your demands for more money. That's better.
That's a good one.
Next round on me.
That's a great
meaning
one.
somebody else, not you, who's buying it for. Those are words that I might take ahead of them. But I like where you're going with that.
Congratulations, you just won the Mega Millions.
Yeah, that's happening today. If you bought your ticket, I guess it's part of our duty today to buy at least one of these tickets.
Well, I guess so. I've spent so I'm in a pool with the in-laws and the in-law family.
I think you're in a pool with the guys, with the Morning Rush guys, too. I heard Tommy this morning say he bought a ticket for everybody.
Tommy bought a ticket for everybody. So I believe that includes you as well, and Maddie and everybody here at the station as far as I'm aware of. But I put $10 in, so we got $60 worth of tickets and did a really good strategy thing. Like we're really spreading it out. So where, like, my future mother-in-law is in Indiana visiting her mother right now. She bought some tickets. My, obviously, fiance, father-in-law, and future brother-in-law are in Tennessee. They bought some tickets. And then my future sister-in-law is in Florida, and she bought some tickets. And then I might buy some for here in Arkansas. That way we really cover a wide area. And that way if we just hear that the ticket was sold in said state, well, we got a pretty good shot at being one of those states.
So
my mic's not in program now. It's up there. You realize the guy from Raising Cane's bought $50,000 worth of tickets the other day, and there
what
wasn't
is he gonna do with it?
He was gonna to the employees, if he break it up and give it to him. But that just shows you, it's like, yeah, you could buy 100 tickets, you could buy 2,000 tickets. It's not gonna help your chances.
I just want to know how many employees work under the Raising Cane's banner, because I'm wondering the same thing. If Tommy bought tickets or a ticket that covers everybody under the banner of ESPN Arkansas, HitThatLine.com, how many people are we sharing this billion with?
Less than 50 people, I think, between here in Fort Smith and Harrison.
Let's just say 50
and North. Yeah, so I mean, we're still going to be making, after the lump sum payment, after Uncle Sam gets his, we're still at least all going to get like $50 million. Are you okay with $50 million, or do you want some of my?
Well,
shares?
$1 billion. If I put the correct amount of zeros in my phone here, and I had to turn it on its side to fit in, the extra zero. $1 billion. Let's just say 50 people working in our company. That's $20 million per. So you're not going to be getting your 50 mil here, Drew. You're going to have to, I mean, 20 million is not anywhere near 1 billion, man.
Well, that's nothing to sneeze at, though.
It's something to
That's
choke
enough
on,
for me
really.
to take a month off of work.
It is. I'd have to, I went through, like, who's on, like, are we talking about the on-air people? Is it the salespeople, too? Is it the various general managers at all of our affiliates? Like, how many people?
I don't know.
And
That's why
I did count. I counted Clay Henry, and now I've counted Chuck Barrett. Although, like, I don't know, is Chuck part of the company yet?
He doesn't start till Monday.
Does he get grandfathered in?
I don't know. That's the real
ESPN Arkansas is the big winner tonight.
That is
Mega Millions.
That is the big question because he doesn't technically start till Monday. So, and if we're all on vacation, as Tommy loves to remind us, somebody has to run the board. So I think it's like an initiation for Chuck of joining the ESPN Arkansas. If we all win, well, somebody's got to run the board. He's going to run the board while we're all on vacation.
Without Chuck, we would all make an extra $408,163.27. I think it might be worth it. We might have to go to the mattresses with Tommy over this one if ESPN Arkansas HitThatLine.com does win the Mega Millions. I heard them talking about it on the show today on the Morning Rush, and yeah, Chuck had it both ways. Says, we're going on a boat. You're never going to see me again. Yeah, but you know what? In all honesty, we would probably just keep doing what we're doing. That's the one thing that you miss when you're doing sports radio is just like more money, lots of money. There's a discount when you work in sports radio, just because it's a whole idea of doing what you love. And then if you get $20,408,163.27 minus Chuck Barrett, of course, then it's just $20 million. Then I don't know. Maybe I would keep doing the same thing.
I would still work. You know, obviously after taking off. No, I think I would. I would.
I agree with you, Maddie. Yes.
I would. Now, I would structure it a little different, but I don't know. Would you work for free, though?
You would spend all your money following Jimmy Buffett.
Oh, that would be great. I would do that.
Yeah,
well, I would just start my retirement plan early, and I don't know how this is ever actually going to be. I'd have to win the lottery for this to, actually happen because I've turned 28 in 2 months, and I haven't started a 401k or any of the retirement plans. So I'm already really behind the 8 ball in this. But my big retirement plan was I just wanted to buy a sailboat, just a small little sailboat. It has an engine in it, but can, actually use the sails.
You're saying this is your retirement plan, but the other half of the planning is where you get the money for this.
That's the thing. I got to hit it big. So I would just start my retirement plan off early.
Now,
I'd go ahead and buy my sailboat.
Did your parents play the lottery? Maddie, did you?
My dad does. My mom is very Baptist. Doesn't
Phil,
believe in the gambling.
You may not remember this, Phil, but we actually didn't have the lottery in Arkansas until about maybe 15 years ago.
You're right. Couched in with Arkansas scholarships.
Because I was already working in radio when the lottery came to Arkansas, and I remember going out and buying a lottery ticket for the first time and trying some scratch-off tickets.
Remember, the lottery is how Maryland essentially built Camden Yards.
Yeah,
and it was all through the lottery. I mean, this is ways that we've found to raise public money and things like that. Growing up in Pennsylvania, the lottery was a big part of the culture. I mean, a lot of people play the daily number, the big four, and then it turned into the lotto, and then the Powerball jumps in and everything changes. Now, my grandparents lived in Florida. And my parents did not play the lottery. They do not put money on anything. They wouldn't gamble on even the sun coming up in the morning. But my grandparents, they would play the lotto. They would play the Powerball. And then that was great because then I could hear the plans for everything from Grandma Lil. I'm going to pay off your parents' mortgage. I'm going to pay off our mortgage. I'm going to buy you a car. I'm going to send you to a university. All these things with the New York accent too thrown in just because that's exactly how Grandma Lil sounded.
What was the biggest payday? Did she ever get any little bit of payday? Not hit a few numbers correct in a row. Got $100.
I have like fading memories of a babysitter that won the daily number, which was hitting 3 numbers. Like how much was that worth? Like $75. And she was like, oh my, that was like the biggest thing that had happened to her. One of my friends that I was with over this last weekend, he won $50,000 on the Powerball.
Wow.
Yes, 4 numbers and the multiplier. Which was impressive.
Pays off for the extra dollar, man. You gotta spend the extra dollar for the multiplier.
Yep. He is up for the rest of his life, no doubt about that. But it was great to hear Chuck on the Morning Rush this morning. I know he's on a trip. We'll have him on next week at some point, and we're going to have him on a weekly basis. And that's outstanding. It's funny, too, because now that, Clay will be on with us on halftime more often. He'll be on a couple times a week, Mondays and Thursdays, for longer than just the 30 minutes. And I remember, when I first moved to Arkansas, I used to call into sports shows when I was a kid. I mean, growing up in Pittsburgh in the 80s and 90s, you had 4 or 5 different sports talk programs that you could choose to call in on. And this was back when those hosts didn't allow you to use your name. They didn't want your real name on the program.
See, and now I really don't like caller names. Now, some of them are fine, but everybody...
don't tell Hog Noxious that.
Well, not like that.
Well, he calls in as one or the other. He does both sometimes. You never know with him.
Well, at my previous station, that was a big no-no. We're not taking any made-up names. If you want to come on and give your opinion and your name's Rob, we're calling you Rob.
Hey, guys, this is Steam Train from Memphis.
We're not talking to Mystery Tiger Fan 904.
Well, Charlie has bought into his nickname quite a bit because he calls him Charlie or Tuna.
I love the Tuna.
So you had guys that would call in as Yale Man, as Steeler Bob, that kind of thing, and there I was 9 years old calling in my first ever sports talk program, not allowed to use my own name. What was I doing at that time? Babysitting my sister and washing the dishes from dinner that was basically just pizza. And my nickname for sports call programs then was Dishwasher, the Dishwasher.
Why the Dishwasher?
Just because I was washing dishes when I made the phone call for the first time. It just seemed to work.
I like it when somebody tries to be funny and they'll be like, hey, this is Bobby Petrino's neck brace.
Yeah, we're going to get a few of those phone calls during homecoming week when Arkansas and Missouri State get together. But I think I might have used the Dishwasher moniker once in the state of Arkansas, just once. And it would have been way early in my time living in Arkansas, back at the corner of Tyler and B Street in Little Rock, just 2 blocks away from War Memorial Stadium. And I put on sports rap. And I was making dinner all by myself. And there was Chuck, and there was Clay. I didn't know who Clay Henry was then. I knew kind of who Chuck was. I didn't know him as the baseball guy, but I knew him as the he was hosting pre and post for football and also with sports rap. Which even then, as my job with the Travelers, you never got on sports rap, but you knew the show, you knew who Chuck was and all that. And what was the conversation? I think it was about it's a little bit about some of the stuff we talk about now, figuring out a national champion in football and doing away with the quote-unquote meaningless bowl games where you don't even know if the team is going to show up the way that they finished the regular season. And I got into my question. I think Arkansas finished that season kind of hot, with 4 or 5 wins in a row. And I was like, wouldn't you love the idea of Arkansas getting into the tournament, into a football tournament, 16 teams at this point? They might have had a shot to get in there. They might have been on the bubble, something like that. Instead of playing in some meaningless bowl game. And before I could get the word meaningless out, I think Chuck and Clay hung up on me and started saying, "Oh, it's not meaningless. It's a reward for the end of the season. A well-spent season, all of that." I mean, the way that people describe the bowl games now. But that was my first ever interaction with Chuck and Clay. I don't even thought I made it through my comment, and now they're going to be coming on our shows on a weekly basis, the two of them.
Oh, how the world spins in a circular motion. Everything connects to one another. It really is a beautiful moment. It's another beautiful reminder of how crazy life is.
Yeah,
I needed more reminders. Life is crazy.
Hey, I'll give you some.
Yeah, we got plenty more coming where that's coming from. 877 377-6963 on halftime today. So Aaron Torres is off today. He's at a wedding, so he's off today. We'll have Aaron back next week. So Bill Bender stepping in, outstanding football writer from the Sporting News. We'll get to him in a couple of segments. Hour number 2, we're going to focus in on Traylon Burks and the Tennessee Titans with Jared Stillman, who hosts on 102.5 The Game in Nashville. And your calls and texts. We got some news involving Arkansas baseball players that have signed contracts with major league teams, and we'll get to that next on halftime.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
I think you can be awfully proud of the way your fans are with you. I've never seen stands so full of life. The whole state was behind you. There was a spirit there about it, Coach, and that means that your team has done something that's really great for this state.
Thank you, sir. We're very proud of our fans. They've had a big part in the success that we've had.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Traylon down the sideline. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Harry Robinson Salisal Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
Hey, this is Chad Warner, product manager for Booyah Bait Company in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The hottest swim jig on the Arkansas River right now is the Booyah Mobster. It was designed by the Muddy Water Mob, a bunch of river rats from Arkansas and Oklahoma, and it's winning tournaments on Dardanelle and Kerr like clockwork. If you're fishing submerged vegetation, water willow, lily pads, you need a Booyah Mobster to reel them in. Available at lurenet.com and tackle stores throughout Arkansas and Oklahoma, the Booyah Mobster.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith is open and ready to care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store has COVID vaccinations available for ages 5 and up and the new second booster for ages 50 and up. These vaccines are safe and effective in preventing severe cases of COVID. Call 452-6116 to schedule your booster appointment or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
NWA Gold and Silver has moved to a new location in Fort Smith at 4600 Rogers Avenue across from Med Express. NWA Gold and Silver is always buying gold and silver, scrap, bullion, and coins. Plus, NWA Gold and Silver buys and sells jewelry of all kinds. Diamond rings, wedding bands, engagement rings, earrings, and more. Bring in your gold or silver today to the people that pay the most and have the best deals. NWA Gold and Silver in their new location at 4600 Rogers Avenue across from Med Express in Fort Smith.
Why do people do business with First Western? Because First Western builds relationships with all of their customers. They partner for the long haul to help you with your financial goals over all seasons of life. First Western is prompt, responsive, and they deliver with quick answers and on-time loan closings. When is the last time your banker called you? If you are looking for a high level of service and a financial partner who will listen and respond, try First Western. For more information, visit them online at firstwestern.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Calling all fans of flavor, there's something new at your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith. Fridays Fajitas. Fajitas you love in bold new flavors like dynamite shrimp, tandoori chicken, and the spicier whiskey glazed blaze Tex-Mex. Right now, get free chips and queso with any Fajitas order. Dine in or order online for curbside pickup at Fridays.com. New Fridays Fajitas at your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
A couple of weeks, Drew and I will be in Branson at the Babe Ruth League's Cal Ripken Majors 70 World Series. That's going to be exciting. Branson is the home of this nationwide tournament, and we hope to see you there. The tournament begins August 4th through the 13th in Branson, and we will be there the day before the championships, right before the U.S. and International Championships on Friday, August the 12th. So we hope to see you there. Speaking of some baseball stuff, I saw Peyton Paulette has signed his contract with the White Sox as the 62nd overall pick. He got about $420,000 more dollars than his slot value. Signed for exactly the same money that Cole Phillips signed. Phillips was the Razorback signee, right-hand pitcher out of Texas, who went to Atlanta 5 spots ahead of Paulette, but they both signed for the same money, $1.5 million. Signing deadline is Monday, and right now there are 2 Razorbacks who are unsigned and haven't said one way or the other if they're going to. You'd expect Caden Wallace is going to sign a contract as the 49th overall pick. His slot value was just under $1.6 million. Julian Bosnick is the other. He's the left-hand pitcher transferred out of South Carolina, drafted by Pittsburgh in the 14th round. He remains unsigned. If you're a Razorback fan, I think you want to get Bosnick to campus. He sounds like he is most definitely a weekend SEC guy. 13 Razorback players drafted, or players with Razorback interests, either incoming freshmen or transfers, or current players or guys that had already transferred away. 10 of them have signed, 10 of them within the first 10 rounds. Like, it's the top 10 rounds where you have slot value. 3 of them signed over slot. Phillips and Paulette are 2 of them. Connor Noland got $35,000 more than his slot value. Had a little bit of leverage, so he signed for $200,000. Robert Moore signed for $115,000 less with the Brewers. Jalen Battles got almost $81,000 less than his slot value with the Rays.
Wait. I am just looking. Did he sign for almost $81,000, or is that $81,000 less than what the slot value?
Less. I don't know that. I think Battles signed for like almost $260,000.
Okay.
But that was
that's a lot of money left there on the chopping block.
$81,000 less. That's right. Well, he didn't have. I don't think he had any leverage either. That's part of it. Evan Taylor got $25,000 less than his slot value from the Marlins. Michael Turner signed for $35,000. He's out of eligibility. The White Sox got him for almost $123,000 less than slot value. And Zebulon Vermillion got $20,000 from the Mets as a 10th round pick, and that saved the Mets $130,000 on their slot value. All of those numbers end up getting used for
Michael Cohen going through some financial trouble we don't know about?
It's not that. They only have an X amount of dollars to use amongst all of those top 10 picks, or really for the entire draft. So that's like how a Mark Adamiak, somebody that never established himself with Arkansas and transferred out to Missouri, ends up getting $125,000 from Oakland as a 15th round draft choice, because he's big, he's got a great looking pitcher's body, he's projectable, and they got him for more money than a lot of other Razorbacks that signed ended up getting, even though Adamiak wasn't really like a guy that showed that he's got the ability to throw strikes on a consistent basis in college baseball.
You know, especially the way that minor league contracts are structured and basically making diddly nothing, diddly squat. I don't know how I would feel, leaving that kind of money out there on the chopping block. I get it, with some of these guys, they really didn't have another option. I guess you could go do what, oh, goodness gracious, Vanderbilt pitcher from last year.
Rocker.
Yeah, go do what Rocker did and, just say no and, go play in another league for a year and get redrafted. But, man, to think that you left, $115,000 on the chopping block, knowing that there's a possibility over the next 3-4 years, that's if you're on the fast track to make it to the show, you're going to make a total of, what, 25, 30K in 3 years?
Yeah.
Like, that is just, that's got to be heartbreaking.
I think Robert lost a little money with the season he had, offensively at least, because he was talked about as a potential first-round pick and ended up going a lot lower than that. But it's a lot of money that these guys make. I mean, even before Caden Wallace does or does not sign his contract, the 10 players with Arkansas connections, and that does include Jordan Sprinkle, who would have been a Razorback, the shortstop from UCSB. These guys have signed for a collective $5,020,400. That's a nice little piece of news to throw out there for your recruits. And if and when, I think, because he will sign, Caden Wallace does sign, the number is $6.6 million for 11 players to sign contracts. Anywhere from $1.5 million. Maybe Wallace gets 1.6, 1.7. He should get a premium because he's got 2 extra years of eligibility. So I would imagine Wallace signs for higher than that slot of 1.58, but that'd be over $6.5 million to say that our players, or guys that would have been players here, have signed contracts for as signing bonuses. Remember, these are not salaries that they're getting. This is not prorated or anything like that. It is simply a signing bonus. Put your name here. We will give you this lump sum, and you're going to give a chunk of it to Uncle Sam. And I don't know if the players buy these anymore, but I just remember all the time when the Travelers, you could tell the guys that were drafted within the previous 3 or 4 years, because when they arrived in Little Rock, Cadillac Escalades everywhere. Everywhere.
I'm sure. I mean, that was a hot vehicle back in the early 2000s and all the way till about it's still not a bad looking vehicle, but it's not as hot of an item as it was, from 2000, 2010.
Oh, it was a hot item in Little Rock back then, especially in the middle of the city where Ray Winder Field was located. I'll never forget. I mean, it doesn't matter the player's name. Brandon Warax was the player's name. He was a shortstop. And he had, I think he was like a 2nd or 3rd round pick of the Rangers. He'd eventually made his way to the Angels organization. And the players on road trips would park their car in the employees' parking lot. There was no fence around it. There was no security or anything. It was, near the freeway in Little Rock. And by the time we got back from that road trip, his Escalade was sitting on bricks.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Oh, goodness gracious.
All right, we're going to step aside for a break here, get into college football with Bill Bender from the Sporting News. He covers the Big Ten and the rest of college football, but we want to talk with him about what he thinks the Big Ten SEC playoff could look like if it ever does come into fruition, and get his thoughts on Arkansas football in year 3 under Sam Pittman. Bill Bender from the Sporting News. Next, it's halftime.
Progressive Snapshot can save you money based on how you drive and how much you drive. So the safer you drive, the more money you could save. Now, if you didn't hear that because you were looking at your phone while driving, let me say it again. Seriously, put down your phone. That is so unsafe. If you didn't do stuff like use your phone while driving, you could save money with Progressive Snapshot. But saving or not, just put it down. And if you did hear it the first time because you weren't looking at your phone, nice work. You'd love Snapshot from Progressive because it rewards safe drivers. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California and North Carolina or from all agents.
The summer savings are coming in hot at Lowe's. Cool down and save with a Harbor Breeze Beach Creek indoor ceiling fan. Was $129.98, now $89.98. Or get up to an additional $500 off now on select major appliances, plus free delivery over $299. Find it all this summer at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. Appliances in-store must ask cashier to apply discount at time of purchase. Online must enter applicable promo code at checkout. Savings vary based on purchase amount. While supplies last. Valid 7/21 through 7/27.
The good old summertime is here, and Jelco Outdoors has all your fishing gear for summer trips at the lake or river. Check out the fishing kayaks by Old Town and New Canoe. Summer savings up to $300 off select model. Get ready for fall archery season now with a new bow by Hoyt, Matthews, Elite, and Bowtech. Jelco has the largest selection of box blinds for fall hunting. Come see us at Jelco Outdoors during the good old summertime. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
It's hotter than car lot asphalt. That can mean only one thing. It's time for the Rath Auto Resources Summer Sales Drive. Every summer, we set our goals to sell more cars than the year before and break every sales record. That means huge savings for you on a great selection of Rath Road-ready premium pre-owned vehicles, each one hand-picked and reconditioned in our Meineke Car Care Center. Don't let the lot fool you. When they're moving this fast, most of the inventory never makes it to the lot or the internet. No worries. Just call, click, or come by and let one of our friendly non-commissioned solution specialists help you find the perfect vehicle and work it all out so the price and payment fits your budget. It couldn't be simpler, and the summer sales drive makes it the perfect time to save. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with free AC checks, half-off brakes, and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, start driving better today and save big during the summer sales drive. Only at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Honey, I found a great new house for us to buy. Look at the photos.
Yeah? Who's gonna clean that big house?
We'll hire a housekeeper.
And who's gonna mow all that grass?
I will, on the weekends.
And who will get the kids to school?
We'll start a neighborhood carpool.
You thought of everything, didn't you?
Yep.
Except, who's gonna sell this house we're living in now?
Nick and Ellie Glidewell. nickandellie.com. Equal housing opportunity, Sagely and Edwards Realtors.
Growing up, my parents always encouraged me to do what's right, even if it wasn't easy. I'd always hear my mother's voice say, "Do the right thing." That stuck with me. Every day, just do the right thing. That's it. The rest takes care of itself.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe in doing the right thing for our customers and our communities.
Ask Shelter agents Randy Milam or Brad Howe about a free insurance review.
Picture another world, another dimension, where left is right, up is down, and chicken sandwiches only cost $1. This place exists, and it's called the Hardee's app. So when you buy one hand-breaded chicken sandwich, you get another for just $1. Cluck bait! It's time to fall for some cluck bait. Bite into the hand-breaded chicken menu only at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants exclusively in the Hardee's app or website by registered My Rewards members. Tax not included. See app or website for additional terms and conditions.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Circus is coming through. Everybody knows that when you purchase a ticket, you expect to get a show. Take a look at me. I'm just a clown, and on my face I wear a frown. I paid the cost to hang around, so take a look at me. I'm just a clown.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Big Ten Media Days wrapped up this week. You had the SEC last week. We're pretty much just about set for preseason practice in all the college football leagues. Let's talk about some college football right now with Bill Bender from the Sporting News. We appreciate your time, Bill. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. I read your column about a potential 16-team playoff in the future, and that's not a number that we've seen thrown around at all. It's been 8 or it's been 12. Does this coincide with the SEC, kind of, Greg Sankey openly discussing the possibility of a 2-league playoff and Kevin Warren not shooting it down yesterday on 24/7 Sports? You see these two things kind of working together at all?
Well, I mean, Kevin Warren and Greg Sankey aren't the only ones that have kind of let the idea of a 16-team playoff happen. Gene Smith obviously said as much in the Pete Thamel report this week. Some of the coaches at Big Ten, we asked them about it in Indianapolis. And, when Barry Alvarez doesn't, swat it away, that gets my attention because he's also one of those guys that's in those meetings. So, there's a little more smoke to it than there maybe should be. I think 8, 12, 16 are all on the table as far as a potential expansion down the line.
Well, when I hear the commissioners of these two conferences to talk openly about the idea of an SEC Big Ten playoff, it feels like, you say, smoke and mirrors. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe they're displaying the leverage that they hold right now. And as you continue to bring in brand names to these leagues, and I don't think expansion is finished. It is for the next year probably, but we'll see what happens next summer. These leagues are essentially saying, look, we've got to get something going here, because if not, we can just do it, the two of us, and it's kind of legit.
Yeah, and I think And some of it might be like a trial balloon, as they like to call it, kind of let that out there and see what the reaction to it is. And, when I write those kind of things, people start getting on me. Like, it's like I'm the one advocating. I'm not advocating. I'm just saying this is what I think could happen. It's the same thing with super conferences. I've never said I was openly in favor of them, other than there are some benefits to it if it does go that way. But I'm just kind of seeing what I think is going to happen in the next few years.
Bill, when a lot of these commissioners and coaches talk about expansion and conference realignment and everything, they love to throw out some of the hot button items. For Saban, it's fair and balanced. For so the Big Ten, we heard tradition be thrown around a lot. And what kind of actual tradition do you think that they're talking about? Because technically, we've been moving away from tradition for a long time now, since Arkansas and South Carolina joins the SEC, Nebraska moves to the Big Ten, and everything that we've seen in the last 20 years. What tradition are they referring to like try to save here?
Well, that's what yeah, you're right. No, you're right in every way. I was like, what tradition? I get it. I mean, people love to talk about tradition and nostalgia with college football. And, I don't know how old you guys are. I'm 42. So, I remember the 90s and very fond of that era of college football like everybody else. But I also like to remind people, hey, in the 90s, there were 3 split national championships. And there was a 4th year where there could have been a split with Penn State and Nebraska. I mean, the early 90s, if you're an SEC fan, you can't be too attached to it. It wasn't that great. Wasn't what it is now. So I think the other thing with it is people want to say it's a regional sport. Well, okay, it's a regional sport dominated by one region, and really 1 or 2 teams in that region. So a lot of these things that get thrown around, I think the super conference era and a playoff expansion and those kind of things that threaten that tradition you're talking about may make the game better down the line. That's just, or do you guys want to keep watching what we watched the last 8 years?
Hey, I want to watch the best matchups. I want to watch something better, especially when it gets to, the CFP and the semifinals have almost become unwatchable for a lot of them. Bill, with the Pac-12 meetings going on today, their commissioner says he believes that they have collectively lost sight of the student athlete, I guess, when it comes to realignment, NIL, expansion, and everything else. How well positioned is the Pac-12, if positioned at all, to really save itself?
Yeah, he's throwing some daggers out there today, for sure.
Yes.
And because he's probably pulling them out of his back to throw them back, and that's what happened. They had an alliance with the Big Ten, and that went away. And they apparently are fighting off the Big 12, and that went away. That's going to continue because conference is in a tough spot because, like the Big 12, I'm actually impressed with the way it's been able to survive, knowing that its 2 biggest brands are going to leave. And I don't know how long that will last, but it's impressive. Now, can the Pac-12 do the same thing when not the 2 biggest brands, but certainly the most prestigious brand out of the biggest market is gone in USC? I mean, that's one that we care about here in Big Ten country. And maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I think you guys, if there's a Pac-12 program you pay attention to, it's USC, right?
More or less, yeah. USC and Oregon probably be number 2.
I'm stuck in Oregon State every year. I can't get enough of the Beavers.
Right. Yeah, you're staying up watching that Oregon State-Washington State game, I know. But, it's going to be tough for them to survive knowing that those brands are going to the Big Ten, that it took the Los Angeles market with them and everything that triggers off of that.
All right, let me get a thought on Arkansas here. I know you cover the Big Ten, but you also have to pay attention to the SEC if you're covering college football, and you cover the whole sport. Year 3 under Sam Pittman, the Hogs picked 3rd in the division in the preseason poll. They finished in a tie for 3rd last year. You see an improvement? You see them holding steady, or do you think they might drop a bit?
Well, I'm finishing up my SEC predictions, which are running next week, and we do those every year about this time. And I mean, it's either 2nd or 3rd with A&M, and that which one of those teams wins that game on September 24th at Jerry World is the team that will point to say, okay, let's see if they can go beat Alabama. I mean, Arkansas did go shot for shot with Alabama there for a long time in last year's game. And K.J. Jefferson's one of the most exciting players. And I just looked this up. I was just writing about him like 5 minutes ago. 2 interceptions in 6 games against ranked teams.
That's right.
And that's playing good football. 6 games against ranked teams, and he played well. So, I mean, I think Arkansas's got to have high hopes. I'm sure you guys talk about it at length, that A&M game will be the tone setter, not to mention the opener against – I think they caught Cincinnati at the right time. I mean, Cincinnati lost 9 guys to the NFL. That's going to be a tough one for the Bearcats to win.
The talk about KJ is, and I think you pointed something out. I think it's a bit of a fallacy that Traylon Burks made KJ look good last year. I think there's a lot of cases where he just allowed Burks to go make a play and sometimes made his other receivers look good, but they dropped a lot of passes. I think K.J. Jefferson is the kind of quarterback who can make his receivers better. And even though there's no Traylon Burks, there's a crop of receivers that seem to have a nucleus that could form a really dangerous group. I don't buy into the idea that offensively Arkansas misses out without Traylon Burks. I still think they can be just as good as they were last year, if not better. I think they'll have a better overall group of receivers.
Well, they'll have a better quarterback because it's his second year. So, and Kendall Brown's offense is always pretty quarterback friendly to begin with. I mean, this isn't like, I'm a Packers fan. It's not like the Packers losing Devontae Adams where they've had that for 10 years. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's something to that. I mean, obviously you lose a guy like Burks that doesn't, if it's 3rd and 15 and the play is just, go throw it down there and make a play, yeah, maybe you're missing that. But like you said, I mean, I think Arkansas's offense will be better this year than it was last year because you have the experience at quarterback and his ability to run the football. And like I said, just looking at it right now, and I'm doing it 10 minutes ago, I was a little surprised. I was like, yeah, he played really good against all these ranked teams last year. He didn't take anything away and showed in the bowl game that he can run the ball too.
Bill, one thing that I talked a lot about last week during SEC Media Days in Atlanta was the subtle shots that so many coaches seem to take in the SEC, and especially some that aren't so subtle. I mean, Saban telling everybody that Jimbo bought his recruiting class, Jimbo coming back, with his impromptu press conference and everything that he said. How come and maybe it's just me being stuck in an SEC bubble, but are the same things going on in Big Ten country? I haven't heard a story where Jim Harbaugh is calling Ryan Day a cheater, or Mel Tucker is saying everybody is cheating like Lane Kiffin is. Like, is it going on everywhere, or is the SEC just kind of seem to be very ruthless towards each other?
No, I mean, come on. If they were truly ruthless, if it was like Spurrier and Bowden back in the day, they wouldn't have stopped. I mean, I think Sankey put the mute button on those guys in Destin, and then, now they won't address it. Whereas Spurrier and Bowden, that went on for years. Up here, not as much. I mean, there's a couple back and forth. Like last year, Jim Harbaugh insinuated that Ryan Day was born on third after beating Ohio State, and there's always that back and forth between those two. But it's like almost passive-aggressive in some ways. And the only other thing that happened up this way was Mel Tucker took a shot back at Pat Narduzzi, from Pitt, who said, that they could win the Big Ten. And that was really the only shot that got taken there. So, I mean, in general, it's pretty muted. I'm one of those guys that would prefer that if you're going to do it, stick with it. Like Jimbo should have just dug in and then never apologized and those kind of things. And because those things make college football fun.
Oh, it definitely does. I enjoyed it and would have loved to, as Lane Kiffin said, grab my popcorn and got ready to watch. One thing that gets talked about a lot in SEC country are the collectives. And this school has a collective for that. This school has a collective for this. How big and how big are the collectives for some Big Ten schools, and where do you see they match up with some of the SEC?
Ohio State's going to be fine with NIL and the way that they're doing it. Michigan will be fine. I'm sure Penn State, Wisconsin, Michigan State will be fine. I mean, is it the same level? Probably not. But, I think this is part of why Nick Saban's saying there should be guardrails on it, because at what point does it get out of control? I don't even look at it from a conference-to-conference standpoint. I kind of look at it as, should a freshman who's never taken a snap be making more money than a second-round pick in the NFL? Probably not. But if they're going to pay it to him, I can't say, well, I mean, of course, if that was my kid, I'd be like, yeah, you're taking the money too. So it's one of those things that I still think it's going to take a few years to really iron out what those guardrails might be. But in the short term, yeah. And something I was taught too is, like, don't believe, in some cases, just don't believe the money that's being thrown out there, because it might not be true. And I think that would help iron this out too, is if they had to disclose how much they get from some of these things.
You think there's a chance that anybody out of the East breaks this string of 9 years where the Big Ten champion comes out of the West? Of course, it's been Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan last year. Wisconsin got a shot. Anybody else after that? Because it's basically Wisconsin or bust on the other side, right?
Yeah, well, I think, Iowa or Minnesota might have something to say about that. Purdue could be a spoiler for at least a couple weeks, but you're right. It would probably be Wisconsin. And then on the other end, I just don't know who's beating Ohio State this year. All the tough games are at home. They get Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan at home. It's a great year to be a Ohio State season ticket holder for sure, knowing that schedule. And they're going to be really good. And they're going to be really good on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, when 3 of the top 10 potential top Heisman candidates are on the same offense, I mean, that tells you. I think they could be better than they were on offense last year, and they led the nation in points and yards.
I think Brett Bielema's got a chance to turn Illinois around. First year, they kind of finished with a bit of a flurry, wins in 2 of the final 3 games. What do you think of Brett Bielema and what he's facing there at Illinois' second year?
It's going to be interesting to see what they do. He's playing catch-up for sure, but, I mean, they showed some flashes last year. It'll start with the quarterback position. He can coach offensive line a little bit, and I think that will continue. But for Illinois, it'd be a win to get to a bowl game this year and just try to get in the middle of that division, where that's the difference from being in the Big Ten East. I mean, at least they're not going Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State, because that's 4 losses, even though they got Penn State in that ridiculous overtime game last year. So I definitely think Illinois is one of those teams where if they got to like 7-5, it'd be a win for Brett Bielema this year.
9 overtimes last year. I remember that. That was wild. Bill, we're up against it. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for hopping on. Do great work on the Sporting News, and we'll be reading it.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on. Take care.
Appreciate it, Bill.
You got it, Bill. It's Bill Bender, Sporting News football columnist, at Bill Bender 92 on Twitter, if you got your Twitter handy. And I'm like him. I mean, he's 42, I'm 45, and I remember the 80s and the 90s, and that's where I grew up watching college football. And it's like that. The tradition in choosing a champion in college football, it's that nobody can agree that the system works. We all agree that the traditions of college basketball, college baseball, really the other ways you choose, college sports champions, Division II football, FCS football, we can all agree
Novel idea.
Works.
The tournament works, doesn't it?
Those are the traditions that work. As far as college football is concerned, Division I FBS, the tradition is arguing. Wrapping up the first hour next.
When you need a plan, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts.
This song was mistakenly thought to be about animal rights or shock therapy, but Shock the Monkey is really about jealousy. If we're just highly evolved primates, then why does adultery make us so irate? Natural selection would never make you hate someone who would seminate. It's because a supernatural God wired monogamy into our DNA. If you think this issue is benign, you'll be shocked to see Proverbs 6:29. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Read about it.
A pre-owned vehicle that won't break the bank? Good luck in this market.
But wait, Joe knows good deals. That's right, Joe can get you in a pre-owned car as low as $269 a month, or a truck starting at only $299 a month. Joe knows how to give you more for your trade and save your hard-earned cash. Come see Joe at the Crane Used Car Supercenter, because Joe knows. U.S. Highway 71 in Fort Smith.
PristineAuction.com is the most trusted sports memorabilia auction site. With an A+ BBB rating, auctions on PristineAuction.com start at just $1, and each day there are over 1,000 autographed items available, so you win signed authentic signatures at affordable prices. Just last week, an autographed Justin Herbert jersey sold for $110. Deals like these are happening all the time on PristineAuction.com, and they have just about every player you could want, including Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and so much more. Every item on PristineAuction.com comes with a certificate of authenticity from the industry's most reputable authenticators. Upgrade your collection of signed memorabilia today and get $10 off your first item one when you use code HTL when you sign up. Again, PristineAuction.com, use code HTL and get $10 off your first item one. And that's not all. In addition to $10 off your first item, we are giving away a signed Traylon Burks Arkansas Razorbacks jersey to one lucky listener who signs up using this code HTL. Here's your chance to win. All you have to do is sign up on their website using our registration code HTL to be entered. Visit PristineAuction.com/register today.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and
Home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
What's happening, shouting? The king back. I know y'all miss a pimp, right? Yeah, but dig, there's been a lot of hate going on, okay? So let me holler at you something. First of all, look at here, dog. I see me in the street, but shouting, you don't know me. When you holler, when you speak, remember you don't know me. You save all the hating and the popping, pimping, you don't know me. Quit telling people you my partner, listen, you don't know me. Don't be a groupie, keep it.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Wrapping up the first hour here on Halftime, and then it's the golden hour, and isn't that just incredibly exciting? Let's see, a week from today, Drew and I are at the Hardee's location, Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith, for another qualifying round of the Thick Burger Eating Contest and the football trip of a lifetime, brought to you by Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and HitThatLine.com. That's at the Phoenix Avenue location next week, Friday from 11 to 1. If you finish your thick burger in 90 seconds or less, you'll be qualified for the August 20th finals, and the winner will get tickets to see the Titans and the Chiefs November the 6th in Kansas City. We'll be talking Titans football in hour number 2 with Jared Stillman from the game in Nashville. Drew, I've already tried to do this 90 seconds or less thing. It doesn't work for me. Are you going to give? You have to give this a shot. One of us has to.
Well, remember, the big thing that I kept running into last year is I don't like lettuce or tomato on my burger.
Hold your nose and eat it.
And y'all said I had to eat it with lettuce and tomaw.
Well,
Also,
you are the guy who likes to drop in a Dems the rules. I think Dems the rules.
You're right. I guess Dems. I will try it. I will do it. I'll hold my nose. I'll scarf it down. I think I can do it in 90 seconds.
All right. Well, remember, it's
I got a pretty big mouth. I can.
Drew already made the barf face. He just made the throw up face.
No,
just
it wasn't
thinking about all of those things.
It's just I like tomato, like cooked tomato. It's just the raw tomato. It's just a texture thing for me.
You can ask him to put the tomato in a grill for like 20 seconds. Would that help it up? Just warm the thing up a little bit.
Probably, yeah. If it was warm tomato, I could probably do it.
See, I'm here to help.
I appreciate that.
You need a microwave. That's what you need. A microwave. Warm your burger up even more, and then you can get that mayo down, the lettuce down. Oh, see, there's the bar face again. The mayo too.
All right, come on. Can we not have the mayonnaise on and it still counts? I think it still counts, right?
Them's the rules.
But it's not like it's a whole slice of lettuce or tomato. Like, that's actually substance of food.
Them's the rules. I'm just using your words against you here.
Can I add extra mustard to disguise it?
Sure.
I mean,
it's just more calories for you.
I mean, adding something, I feel like that shouldn't count against me. I will add extra mustard to disguise the mayonnaise, and then I'll do it. Right?
You know how on the menu in a lot of restaurants, because they've got to work quickly and they don't want to take special orders, it says no substitutions allowed. No substitutions allowed.
But
for
I
the
can
thick
add.
burger eating contest.
Additions are allowed, though.
If you need to dilute the flavor of the mayonnaise, maybe it's okay.
Okay, then I will.
Take I'm gonna have to get a ruling on this. What do the judges say?
We got thumbs up.
Yeah, they're all right with that. They're okay with
all
it.
Right,
yeah,
good.
you can't take anything off, but you can put something on.
Okay.
Yeah, them's the rules.
I'm all for it. I'll give it a shot next Friday.
Also, the rules are that we're into the second hour of halftime, so nothing serious. It's all fun and goofiness and games and all of that because it's the golden hour on halftime. We'll get into some sports too because I think it's time for the Angels to do us all a favor and trade Shohei Ohtani. Pretty please. And some thoughts on fall weddings. Why do we argue that you shouldn't have a fall wedding when babies are born in the fall during football season all the time? I'm just saying, let's look at it both ways here.
It's a conversation.
877-377-6963. Into the second hour right after this.
Arkansas Valley Electric members living in Knoxville and Augsburg and surrounding areas, you can now sign up. Wave Rural Connect Internet is available for you. Fast fiber internet, TV, and even phone service. Internet starting at $49.95 a month, TV at $43.99, and phone for $29.95. Sign up now at signup.waveruralconnect.com or 833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
for today. Some beneficial rain expected to fall with occasional showers and thunderstorms could pick up about half of an inch of rainfall today. Our high low 80s north near 90 south. Tonight, just a chance of isolated showers to storms, overnight lows near 70. Rain likely with a few storms Saturday, highs in the 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Hey, it's Mike Greenberg. Be sure to listen to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft every weekday, 6 to 9.
It's fast. It's exciting.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Bushlight Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
But hold on, it's almost halftime.
All right. Golden hour. This is the best hour of radio in the entire world. 10th out of 10 hours here on Halftime.
Just made the whole week worthwhile.
Didn't it, though? It's
really
been
did.
such a great week for everybody. And you guys are in on the fun a little earlier than me. What did Fish City Grill bring you for the lunch bunch today? Because I'm hungry, and I don't eat this stuff.
Well, ultimately, I got catfish, which is a great choice. I love catfish. I can eat catfish every day for lunch and die a happy man. But Maddie, these shrimps that you let me try,
That's what I decided to get.
My God.
Like I feel like I want to say it's the best shrimp I've ever had.
Really?
It's because of the seasoning
up
and
there.
stuff on it. It's so good. And I just squirted lemon all over it. But dude, it's like
Phil,
it's
I'm contemplating
amazing.
just stealing his food and running down the hall.
Are these shrimp good enough to eat the tails?
And that's why I brought it up to because I know that you only eat fried shrimp tails, but it is that good. The seasoning is so good. I almost feel like I could eat because I know I'm going to.
I could at least chew on it for a bit.
I was going to say the tails are going to be left in the box, and I think by the end of the show I may be eating shrimp tails.
I mean, it's that good. It is that good.
That's when you crossed over into the well, you can't come back any longer from that. Once you've eaten your first shrimp tail, you never
It's
turn
all
back.
downhill.
There's also some tasty salmon here as well.
I'm sending you some pictures real quick, Phil, just to really send it home to you.
I've missed the free food, the great food on Friday. With me being in East West Memphis last week.
2 weeks in a
Atlanta.
row.
Yeah, I was in Harrison the weekend before. All sandwiched in between for media day. So it's nice to get back to the fish on the Fridays.
Well, very good. All right, well, here come the photos. Thank you very much for bragging here, Maddie. Oh, the shrimp
Look
look
at the
beautiful.
color on that salmon too.
Yeah, shrimp and chips. No, they don't call them chips. You got the cornmeal dusted catfish looks delicious. Wow, that's salmon. And broccolini. That's not broccoli. That's broccolini, man. Now you're going a little hoity-toity. That's great stuff from Fish City Grill.
Oh, so good.
They outdid themselves today.
Thanks, guys at Fish City Grill. I'm starving over here. And you guys get all the fun of this. And I get to remind you about the Fish City Grill Lunch Bunch every week on Halftime. Every Friday, Drew and Maddie do have all the fun, though. Next week, we're going to be... You, Drew, are going to be eating a mayonnaise, tomato, and lettuce-laden burger, and Maddie gets to eat the fish.
Mustard.
That's
Extra
exactly
mustard.
Right. Pardon me. All right. What to hit on here as we start the second? Oh, we got a couple of guys on hold.
Waiting.
Let's go to them. While you guys keep chewing, and I keep feeling like I'm missing out on something. So Roscoe is the first man up, and he can entertain us here. Roscoe in Fort Smith, what you got?
Hey, buddy. How you doing, Phil? I called one day a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think you were out, and I asked the guys who our backup quarterback was, and, of course, they said Malik Hornsby, and that just doesn't sit well with me. If he's going to play wide receiver, a lot, how are they going to rely on him to be the backup quarterback also? What if he gets, hurt playing wide receiver? I just can't see Pittman putting him out there and then him be KJ's backup. Now, whoever I talked with that day, I called in, gave me a long story about KJ not getting hurt. Well, I guess I don't know about that. Any ideas on who's backing up the backup?
Well, Sam Pittman's even mentioned this, that bringing in Cade Fortin, who started his career at North Carolina, transferred to South Florida. He's got 1 year of eligibility left, and he's choosing to use it at Arkansas. Now, I think Malik is the backup quarterback. I do. I think, Sam Pittman is even saying, if KJ beats him out for the job, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We know who the starting quarterback's going to be on week 1 against Cincinnati. But you do make a really good point. Like, if you've got this one guy in Hornsby who we all think he's going to get a couple balls his way the first half against Cincinnati, and then you kind of go from there. He's going to be a weapon. He's going to be a weapon. He's going to carry the ball. He's going to receive, and you do raise a good point here. Like, I mean, if he's going to get hit, maybe there's an injury risk there. But I do feel like he's the backup quarterback. Maybe you're going to end up losing that Swiss Army knife feel if KJ does get hurt and you've got Malik as your full-time quarterback, but that's also where Cade Fortin comes in. Not anybody he hasn't had like a big-time career or anything like that, but I mean, he was a 4-star prospect out of high school. It doesn't look like he's necessarily started all that many games, maybe a few here and a few there. Injuries have limited him, but he's a guy that I know he'll be like third string, but because of the point you raised, maybe he's like a backup 2B. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just didn't know if there was anybody kind of waiting in the wings because I want to see Hornsby play receiver because I think he'll be really good. If he can catch the football, my goodness, nobody's going to catch him. That's for sure. But it worries me that he's out there, playing wide receiver, and KJ's running the ball and doing what he does. And then, heaven forbid, they both take a lick and they're out for a game or two. Then we're, Vanderbilt all of a sudden.
Yeah, and there's also Cade Renfro too, a transfer out of Ole Miss, and I've heard some pretty good things about him. So they got 4 quarterbacks ready to go. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Thanks, buddy.
Good to talk to you, Roscoe. Thanks for the phone call. And keep in mind here, so that means your starting quarterback and your backup will probably be hit more often than most other starting quarterback backup combinations.
Well, how many backup quarterbacks are also going to be a major factor in a lot of different packages. And I don't want to say I take offense to Roscoe saying that I didn't answer his question a few weeks ago or basically saying I have no idea who the idiot I was talking to. I don't want to say I'm taking offense to it, but I also want to clarify that I wasn't an idiot and just said, well, hopefully KJ doesn't get injured. That's your solution. Ha, ha, ha. Like, I'm not that dumb. Like,
nobody wants him to get hurt.
Like, come on. Don't simplify my words to say that, well, the guy that I talked to, I'm right here, buddy, basically just started talking about, well, KJ just doesn't get hurt and that solves the problem. Like, bro, I'm not that dumb. And I know I didn't tell you that dumb of an answer 4 weeks ago. And by the way, you asked me the question, who is KJ's backup? I said Malik Hornsby. What if KJ gets hurt? Then Malik Hornsby will play quarterback. That is called a depth chart. That's the question you asked.
Boy, I'd hate to be
So don't be telling me that I gave you a dumb answer
I'd hate to
4
be the
weeks
customer
ago.
service rep that Drew has to speak with the next time his computer doesn't turn on, and the rep's got to ask him if it's plugged in.
Don't tell me to unplug it and plug it back in.
That's what the Roku lady told me. Remember that debacle about 5-6 months ago? She said, "Did you try it?" I literally went through the list. I said, I've unplugged it. I've reset it. I've done every solution that I'll have on y'all's website. I've done every solution that I can find online. None of them worked. I have called my Wi-Fi company. I've called everybody. You are my last phone call. What can you do?
Nothing.
Did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in?
They just want to get you so frustrated that you'll just buy a new one.
Well, I did buy.
So that's what happened.
That's exactly what ended up happening. I ended up buying a new one. But I was like, come on, man. I'm not that dumb.
Well, I can't wait until the next time I've got to take a show off. Make sure you call in that day, okay? You and I can communicate. We can formulate a plan. I'll tell you when I'm taking off. You know that's your day to make a phone call. Charlie, too. Charlie's called us as well. Charlie, earlier in the show, I let everybody know that when I used to dial into sports radio shows, I used the moniker the dishwasher, because in Pittsburgh then you weren't allowed to use your name calling into sports shows, or at least not on the more popular ones. Now, sometimes you're Charlie, sometimes you're Tuna. I feel like I need you to go full Tuna. Can you do this?
Man, I can do it. I can do whatever you need me to do. And Drew, are you good over there, man? I got you, buddy.
Good.
Look,
I'm good. It's just I don't like
I hear
what I said to be dumbed down. That's my biggest thing. Like,
hey, I actually remember that phone call, but I want to say I was either on hold or at some point I heard it. But here's my deal with what he was saying. And, Phil, I get what you're saying, but I also get what he's saying from the standpoint of, you don't want – but here's the deal. You got to play Malik. He's so great. He's so talented with his speed and all that. He's not going to play – I think he'll play, 15, 20 – it just depends. I think early on you'll probably see him out there 15 to 20 plays a game, and then they'll go from there. If it doesn't work, then, but he's still your backup quarterback, and you can't play the game scared. And so that's my thing. At the end of the day, you play your best players, and he's one of your best weapons on the team. So you got to use him. I get where the guys come from, the standpoint. I don't agree with them. You got to use them. And, Phil, you may be right. Maybe there's a 2B with the guy they brought in, and that guy's older. How old is he? Is he in his fourth year?
He's a redshirt senior. That tells me he's in his fifth year.
Cool. Yeah, he's got some experience. So if it were to happen and we had to go for it, you don't want anybody getting hurt. And Drew didn't answer the question dumb. He answered it the way he should have answered it. I remember this call. So, I don't agree with what that guy just said. You got to play Malik. You got to play KJ. You got to play your best players. That's the game. So I do want to bring up a positive note. Did you guys see Traylon Burks make a couple plays in training camp there?
Yeah.
I saw him.
Saw a couple of where there was a beautiful diving fingertip catch. I saw in slow-mo. It was beautiful.
Made some good ones today, too, as well.
Isn't it funny how the thing turns, the media and the fans turn on you and then they turn back on your side right after, a couple little practices. Isn't that funny? Anyway, I do want to make one other point before I go. I don't know if you guys have seen. Can you guys explain to me why all these anonymous coaches come out and talk about certain players? So you got anonymous coaches talking about Lamar and Mahomes, trying to throw them under the bus. Can you guys explain to me why these guys don't have the balls to say who they are? Is it maybe because they can't stop them, or what is the deal? Is that what it is?
Gumption next time, Charlie. Gumption or nerve would work. Either one of those two words would be just fine.
Well, I've had it on the rundown, for us to get to for a couple days, but there's just been so much to talk about. But when it comes to these anonymous surveys, these anonymous quotes that you see, not just in the NFL but around sports in general, the on the record / off the record thing, type of situation. People feel like they can say whatever they want. It's the same thing with people hiding behind a username, a fake profile picture online. People get overconfident and just feel like they can say whatever they want without any repercussions. Now, I'm sure that the guy, if it is the same DC or they're different DCs, they would never say that publicly.
Yeah, this is how you get an unvarnished opinion. This is how you get the opinion that you really want to hear, is by allowing them to speak
but they're dumb
anonymously.
Opinions, though. When you look at the quotes about Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, basically saying, with Lamar, he could win 12 MVPs, and if he has to throw the ball in the fourth quarter, then we win the game, or something along those lines. I don't have the exact quote pulled up in front of me right now, which is absolutely ridiculous. Lamar Jackson, while, yes, he is a dual-threat quarterback, while he has been able to extend plays and has come up big times with his feet, he also has come up big times in the fourth quarter with his arm, throwing to Mark Andrews, throwing to Nick Boyle, the other tight end. And he's going to have better wide receivers this year. I just don't buy the whole if you make Lamar throw, then you win the game. It's never been true, and it never will be true. Like, give me one game. Like, that's the other thing. Like, tell me one game where Lamar Jackson throwing the ball cost him the game? I don't know of one off the top of my head.
I don't know. I don't watch enough Ravens games to know. But I will take the opinions of a defensive coordinator at least. I mean, that's their plan. Make him throw the ball in the fourth quarter. Probably is a little bit better than make him run the ball. That means they're leading.
Mm-hmm.
That means they're leading.
That honestly means stop him quarter 1 through 3 too. I mean, like it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's the same thing of people getting behind anonymous Twitter handles and fake profile pictures.
No, it's the same thing as like you get. Who is it that does this? It's Athlon. Athlon does the SEC coaches anonymous quotes about other programs. That's how you get they're not going to say these things with their name attached to it. You don't know who's saying them. You can guess, but it's more entertaining that way because you're getting an unvarnished opinion. You think it's from someone that's running a program. I would hope Athlon's not lying about that. I don't think they are. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it because if they have their name attached to it, it's going to be the same old coach speak gobbledygook, blah, blah, blah.
But as far as like with Patrick Mahomes, I'm pulling it up right now if my computer also. Does anyone truly believe, take away his first read away, what does he do? He runs, he scrambles, and he plays street ball. Well, that's kind of what a lot of players do when you take away the first read. Last time I checked, defensive linemen are really good. They can collapse a pocket really fast, and that's why Kyler Murray just got paid, $250 million with over 105 guaranteed with or without the study clause, which we can get into later, is because he is able to think on his feet, is because he's able to scramble. I don't know when all of a sudden that is looked as a bad thing. And the throws that Mahomes is able to pull off every single Sunday, I don't care if you classify it as street ball or not. I'm taking that dude 10 out of 10 times and twice on Sunday.
Let's take Robert's call and then the break. Robert in Fort Smith. Been a while, Robert. How are you?
Oh, I got him put up. I don't hear him, though. I know he's usually real quick, but this is quick. This is quicker than usual.
That's quicker than most. So, all right, no phone call from Robert. If you want to make a call and then talk, 877-377-6963. And we're taking all the insults on Lamar Jackson because we need Drew fired up again. Stay with us. It's halftime.
As I was walking down the street one day, a man came up to me. Is there one game every year where I drank a little more beer? It's over for it's over. We go there or they come here. Ever since 06, they get us every season. I wish I could say that's the only reason. I hate Alabama, I hate Crimson Red.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
If you farm, you have enough to worry about without worrying about how much more you're going to owe once your current variable or balloon interest rate increases. Interest rates are on the rise. This is the time to check out Farm Credit's long-term fixed rate options. Farm Credit offers the longest terms in the ag industry. Long-term fixed rates mean there's no surprises and your payments remain the same for the life of your loan. That's peace of mind in this changing interest rate climate. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Set your operation up for success and rest easy. Equal housing lender.
It's July and it's hot, and so are the prices at Frank Row Furniture. For the month of July, Frank Row Furniture has slashed the prices on all made in the USA furniture. You can save hundreds of dollars and in some cases thousands. Made in the USA furniture, family owned, in-store no credit check financing, service after the sale. Frank Row Furniture. Best seats in the house, 405 Port Street, Barling, Arkansas.
Harry Robinson Salisal Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
Tired of spending all your hard-earned cash at the gas pump right now? Wheeler Power Sports is here to help you out. They have a giant selection of motorcycles and scooters to help maximize fuel efficiency. There are over 50 scooters in stock right now, with some getting up to 100 miles per gallon. Wheeler also has a great selection of motorcycles from the Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Kimco. Check out their full inventory at WheelerPowersports.com or check out their showroom in person at 901 North 11th Street near downtown Fort Smith. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Labor I've been doing ain't got no reason or rhyme, and I can hardly wait for it to finally be quitting time.
Find us on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
All right, we need the Los Angeles Angels to do us all a favor and trade Shohei Ohtani. I saw the rumors popping up here because Ohtani even says, I mean, he's a free agent, in a couple of years? And he's not sure if the Angels are the team to get him to the postseason. I mean, if they weren't the team, then Albert Pujols could help get to a postseason once. If Mike Trout has not played a single postseason game during his outstanding Major League career.
Insane. I mean, he's the face of baseball. He's been the best baseball player in the game for a decade, and he's never made the postseason. And I know Angels fans out there, if you're listening, you're not okay with it. I have a really good friend that's an Angels fan, and he's definitely not okay with any sort of talk of getting rid of Shohei. But he's wasted
there. He's wasted there because he doesn't get in the playoffs. That's what we need for the game to actually have the face of the game, because that's what Ohtani, I think, is now.
I'm tired of seeing Shohei Ohtani has done something for the first time since Babe Ruth, for the first time in Major League Baseball. Oh yeah, the Angels lost 8-2. Or Mike Trout hit 4 home runs. Shohei Ohtani added 2. Oh yeah, they lost to the Tigers 10-9.
Get a load of this.
Come on.
So last night, Drew
gotta win.
And Maddie, Ohtani became the second pitcher ever to strike out 10 or more batters in 6 consecutive starts. But he lost 2-0 to Texas. So he's very much like, at least sometimes, based upon the performance of his team, not on his own performance, like Nolan Ryan, who's the last pitcher to strike out 10 or more in 6 consecutive starts. And it was the same franchise, essentially. Ryan spent most of his career with the Angels, and that's where Ohtani has been. So Ohtani has a 9-6 record. His ERA is 2.81. Did you get a load of this? Ohtani has had 7 starts where he's allowed at least 2 runs. They're 1-6 when he gives up 2 runs or more in a game. They're 8-2 when he allows 1 or 0 runs, which says they've lost 2 games when Ohtani is allowed 1 or no runs.
Mm-hmm.
They're wasting his performance, just the same way that the Angels wasted a lot of Nolan Ryan's best years in the 70s because they couldn't compete in the American League West at the same level. Now, they got to the postseason once or twice with him, but never the World Series. Ryan pitched in 1 World Series, and that was the 69 Mets, a career that lasted until 94, pitched in 1 World Series, and that was with 4 teams that made the postseason. Now you've got 14 teams that get in, and the Angels still can't make it. Like, that's when you said talking to Angels fans. Forget about Angels fans, Drew. You need to get Ohtani on television in October when the casual baseball fan is watching. No, the casual fan that gets hooked on watching somebody do something great at the biggest stage in October. And it's not going to happen with the Angels. Not now, not ever with Ohtani and Mike Trout. I'm more a Mike Trout fan because I got to know him when he played with the Travelers. I'd like to see Trout traded. But unfortunately, he signed his free agent deal with the Angels, and he's the cornerstone. Get Ohtani out of there because I want this game to get a real face of the game that doesn't necessarily wear pinstripes. And right now, Judge might be the guy. I don't want Ohtani going to New York.
How long is Judge going to be wearing pinstripes, though? I mean, that's another thing.
Well, I don't want Ohtani going to New York, but, I mean, if it got him at least in the postseason so we could watch him in October, maybe it'd be just okay with me.
I'm all for what you're saying. You want to see the great players be great, and you want to see, and the only way that they can truly be great outside of just statistical numbers is be on good and great teams that make runs into October. I mean, you think about some of the greatest ball players in the history of the game. Would they truly be as great as they are without being on good teams? Would they be as revered and as loved as they have been by fans of the game generation to generation if there weren't some rings and some commissioner trophies to go behind it? You know, Shohei, we have the conversations of the best to never win one. Well, Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani right now are top of that list of current baseball players because we keep seeing these statistics of this hasn't happened since 1923. This hasn't happened since 1892 when there were 17 players on the field and they were playing on a cricket field on the other side of the Hudson River, you know, type of old-timey stuff. We're talking like the Brooklyn Knickerbockers type of stuff. Like, I'm tired of hearing stats like that and then be on a sub-500 team because while they are a draw, you want to watch them. You don't want to watch a bad team. And that's unfortunately what you're watching with the Angels.
And wasting incredible talent. Let's go. Robert's giving us a call back here. Robert, you're back. Nice to hear from you. What's new?
Oh, not a lot. I just got a couple questions for Drew, though. Drew, do you like the Blue City Cafe catfish there off of Bill Street?
I do. Blue City Cafe is a great restaurant any time of the day there, Robert, but it is the best 2 a.m. food of all time. Like, most people would say Waffle House is up there, and it is. But coming out of Silky's at 1:30, going straight to Blue City Cafe, so good. Great meal. Great meal.
Okay. And then it sounds like a lot of your music lately from outlaw country. That's what it sounded like. It's good.
A couple of the songs today were in celebration of the Peacemaker Festival. So the last one was Zach Bryan. Earlier we played Charlie Crockett.
All right. And then last, the defensive line seems to be going to be the weakest spot that we have, but I don't know. But that's just me. But I see what y'all thought about it. Have a good one, guys.
No, I think you're right. And that's you could pick like position battles. On the offensive line, it's left tackle. Linebacker, it's depth. Wide receiver, it's your starters. Running back, it's your starter. Those are the position battles. For the defensive line, it feels like everything's up for grabs. That's why it's the whole line. It's that entire defensive line right now that feels like it's up for grabs, and that's what makes it a question mark, but hopefully it'll solidify. You just need somebody to be able to get to the quarterback and create a little bit so that everybody else can do their thing and get that quarterback out of the pocket a little more than we saw last year. All right, we're going to step aside in just a moment and get into some Tennessee Titans and Traylon Burks with Jared Stillman from 102.5 The Game in Nashville. Halftime brought to you by Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center. Right now they've got their vinyl plank flooring starting at 89 cents per square foot, and you can take it home today. They've got laminate, they got ceramic, they got waterproof flooring, hardwood, natural stone, metal tile, glass tile, all of it, and you can take it home today. Plus the supplies, do it yourself or get professional installation. That's Norris Material and Supply Flooring Center. They were formerly Fort Smith Flooring. And you'll find them at the corner of Wheeler and Y Street, 803 South Y Street, and online at flooring.norrisms.com. More halftime with Jared Stillman from 102.5 The Game in Nashville after this.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment. From high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders.
The company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts.
This song was mistakenly thought to be about animal rights or shock therapy, but Shock the Monkey is really about jealousy. If we're just highly evolved primates, then why does adultery make us so irate? Natural selection would never make you hate someone who would seminate. It's because a supernatural God wired monogamy into our DNA. If you think this issue is benign, you'll be shocked to see Proverbs 6:29. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Read about it.
A pre-owned vehicle that won't break the bank? Good luck in this market.
But wait, Joe knows good deals. That's right, Joe can get you in a pre-owned car as low as $269 a month, or a truck starting at only $299 a month. Joe knows how to give you more for your trade and save your hard-earned cash. Come see Joe at the Crane Used Car Supercenter, because Joe knows. U.S. Highway 71 in Fort Smith.
PristineAuction.com is the most trusted sports memorabilia auction site. With an A+ BBB rating, auctions on PristineAuction.com start at just $1, and each day there are over 1,000 autographed items available, so you win signed authentic signatures at affordable prices. Just last week, an autographed Justin Herbert jersey sold for $110. Deals like these are happening all the time on PristineAuction.com, and they have just about every player you could want, including Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and so much more. Every item on PristineAuction.com comes with a certificate of authenticity from the industry's most reputable authenticators. Upgrade your collection of signed memorabilia today and get $10 off your first item one when you use code HTL when you sign up. Again, PristineAuction.com, use code HTL and get $10 off your first item one. And that's not all. In addition to $10 off your first item, we are giving away a signed Traylon Burks Arkansas Razorbacks jersey to one lucky listener who signs up using this code HTL. Here's your chance to win. All you have to do is sign up on their website using our registration code HTL to be entered. Visit pristineauction.com/register today.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lee.
I'm gonna vote for the funniest frog with the loudest croak on the highest log. I'm gonna vote for the Bud Light frog, the High Life frog, the Highlight frog. I'm gonna pay for the right to drink, for the right to smoke, and the right to sing.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Jared Stillman joining halftime here. He co-hosts on 102.5 The Game in Nashville, also weekends on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports, and we appreciate his time. Jared, how are you? Thanks for your time today.
Good. Thanks for having me, guys. What's up?
You got it. Day 3 of Titans preseason camp, and everybody across Arkansas, and I'm assuming Titans fans will be excited about it too. It's just a couple of the things we saw on Twitter, replays of some nice-looking catches by Treylon Burks. I guess Titans fans would be more excited the fact that he's in much better shape, and he admitted to that. So I don't know, it was a controversy or whatever, but all the stuff that happened from a couple of months ago, is that kind of like bygones now because he looks good?
I mean, you have to remember that Treylon Burks is replacing A.J. Brown. So the proof of concept that Titans fans had with A.J. Brown was a pretty high standard. And so when Treylon Burks on draft night, when the Titans made the trade, I had an SEC defensive coach text me and ask, why are the Titans drafting A.J. to replace A.J.? And so there were a lot of A.J. Brown comps with Treylon Burks. The early stuff was concerning, and I was one of the people who was very concerned about Treylon Burks not being able to make it through rookie camp, not being able to get on the practice field for OTAs. That was a big concern, and I think that was a big moment for Treylon Burks because it's different in the NFL. It's just different. And so for him, I think that this was kind of a big test. You know, could Mike Vrabel trust him when he went away for 6 weeks? Could he lose the weight? Could he stay in shape? Could he do the things that it takes to be a professional? And he came out, he passed his conditioning test. He had a great first day of practice, had a solid day-to-day. He makes plays. He has talent that other guys in the NFL and other guys on this field don't have right now. And I think that, you know, I see a little bit of Deebo Samuel and some of the things that the Titans have done so far with Treylon Burks. But again, as everybody would caution most people, although I'm one to not caution, it's only the first 3 days of training camp. But Treylon Burks has done some really, really nice things. I think he's part of a puzzle for the Titans. They look to get back to the playoffs and probably take that next step.
Treylon returned punts a bit his first 2 years, not so much last year. I read where he's fielding punts with the Titans. Is there a thought that he could be maybe not a featured punt returner, but somebody that gets opportunities? He looked good when he did it at Arkansas. He caught the ball a little bit awkwardly, but he's good.
Let me tell you this. The Tennessee Titans haven't had a good punt returner since I was in high school, and I'm 32 years old right now. So if Treylon Burks wants to go back there and return punts, that'd be great for the Titans. I do wonder, though, most teams, when they've got a guy as a number 1 or number 2 NFL wide receiver, they try to shy away from that guy returning punts. In fact, it's funny, A.J. Brown was in a similar situation where he was returning punts a little bit in practice, and there was talk about whether or not A.J. could return punts. And ultimately, A.J. would practice it, and the Titans had so many issues at punt returner over the last couple of years that it felt inevitable that A.J. would ultimately get an opportunity to do it, and he didn't. So I think the Titans drafted a kid out of UCLA by the name of Kyle Phillips in the 5th round. I think they really want him to be their punt returner. I would doubt that Treylon Burks will get an opportunity to return punts outside of training camp. But Mike Vrabel did say yesterday that, you know, they're going to give him an opportunity so far. I'd be surprised, though, come game time. If Burks is where I think he'll be, which is in the starting lineup, and as the number 2 receiver for the Titans to Robert Woods, I doubt that we see him return punts, just because in the NFL, a lot of starting receivers don't return punts.
Mm-hmm. Well, off the field, though, when it comes to Traylon Burks, and being from Memphis, I have a lot of friends that are Titans fans, and the draft night came around, they all text me, what are we getting out of this guy? I said, one, you're going to get a great football player on the field, you're going to get an even better guy off the field. And has he been in Nashville long enough to really become part of the community? Like, how is having interaction? Have you had any interactions with him, personally, since he's been there?
Sure. I mean, he talked to a bunch of us after practice the other day. Traylon Burks hasn't really been around enough to have that kind of an impact. The Titans are a very veteran group.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a team that's been to the playoffs 3 years in a row. They've been to the playoffs, I believe, 4 of the last 5 years. I mean, they're a veteran group with an established coach. And all Traylon Burks is going to be asked to do is go in there and be a piece of an offense that probably has the best running back in the NFL in Derrick Henry. They went out and added veteran receiver in Robert Woods, a veteran tight end in Austin Hooper. I mean, it's funny because I totally hear what you're saying, but in an NFL market, the whole community element, unless you're the quarterback, the community element of it doesn't really matter much. In fact, Ryan Tannehill, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, Ryan Tannehill is not that big of a member of the community. He lives in Florida in the off season. He's around during the mini camps and OTAs and stuff like that. But the way that everybody here feels about Traylon Burks is going to be completely dictated by how he plays. And when I look at the shape of Traylon Burks, and this apparently you guys would know better than I would, but was an issue at Arkansas was his conditioning and being in shape. And I think the idea is Traylon Burks was really, really good in the SEC at the highest level of college football competition at 230-ish pounds. If Traylon Burks can lose even more weight, he says he's lost about 6 or 7 pounds, and then he's feeling it out there on the field. If he can lose just a little bit more weight and get in better shape, the kind of best shape of his life stuff, he could be an electric player. Now, he's flashed at camp. It's early. That doesn't mean that he's going to go out there and automatically be A.J. Brown overnight, but I think there's a lot of versatility to his game, and I think there's a lot of pure, raw talent. I call it baller talent, where you just put the football in his hands, and certain players can kind of dominate games with the ball in their hands. A.J. Brown, very much part of that. I think that's what the Titans are hoping they get from Traylon Burks, and that's something that we all saw Traylon Burks do in college.
You're exactly right, Jared. I mean, he's a guy that if you put the ball in his hands, he can make electrifying plays, and is definitely can be very elusive. Now, in order for him to get the ball in his hands, it's going to have to come from Ryan Tannehill. And how much pressure, especially after the very early exit in the playoffs last year, is there on Ryan Tannehill, not just to perform statistically, but to get that playoff win this year?
Well, I would say that his entire career is probably riding on it. I think most people, and I look at all the metrics and all the lists and all the breakdowns, I think most people view Ryan Tannehill as a legitimate starting quarterback in the NFL, much better than a guy who would be labeled as a backup, but certainly not in an elite category with a Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, and probably not in that second group with guys like Dak Prescott and Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson. And so Ryan Tannehill right now is an established starter, but he's in his mid-30s. And the Titans, his contract is in a way where the Titans basically can get out of it after this year if they want, or they can keep him as the starter for next year. I believe that after the season that Tannehill had, for whatever reason, it was a major regression from how he had played for the team in 19 and 20. Whatever the reason that happened last year, he's going to get a shot this year. If Ryan Tannehill doesn't meet expectations, you brought up the playoff wins, I think that's part of the equation, then I believe the Tennessee Titans will move on, and the league will probably move on and view a guy like Tannehill as a backup. The problem is Tannehill's already made that sacrifice once when he left Miami and he came here, and he was the backup for 6 games behind Marcus Mariota before taking the job. In the NFL, these quarterbacks make so much money nowadays that if you're looking at a quarterback, in this case Tannehill, who's made $200 million in his career, does he want to go back up Baker Mayfield, wherever that may be, and make $8 million? Probably not. So to answer your question, how much pressure is on Tannehill? I think his career as a starting quarterback maybe his career in general is on the line this season. And Traylon Burks, Robert Woods, and Austin Hooper, and some of the new guys that they've brought in here are going to play a huge role in that.
Well, we just saw Trey Lance announced as the starting quarterback in San Francisco a couple of years after he's drafted. I mean, how long before Malik Willis is going to be the starter in Tennessee?
Well, I'll say this. I was at practice about an hour ago, and I saw Malik Willis throw a pass at somebody's feet, and then I saw Malik Willis throw a beautiful ball down the field. There's a lot of raw talent with Malik Willis, but I think the Titans are bringing him along very slowly. There's a huge difference between Trey Lance and Malik Willis. And for me, that's the investment that the team has made into the player. I think what's interesting is Malik Willis was a third-round pick. And when he got drafted, I said, this is a third-round pick with first-round hype. So how many other quarterbacks are taken in the third round in a year-in and year-out basis that get the kind of attention that a Malik Willis has gotten? And the answer is not very many. There's not a lot of talk when Davis Webb is drafted in the third round about what kind of player he's going to be or when is he going to take Eli Manning's job. But I do think that Willis has that hype to him. He's got talent. This is a big year for Malik Willis because let's say Tannehill doesn't meet expectations and the Titans want to move on. Well, the Titans are going to have a couple of options. There's going to be free agent quarterbacks who would be available. There's going to be a draft class this year that apparently is pretty strong at the quarterback position. And then there would be Malik Willis. Well, if Willis doesn't prove in this year-long period that he's the next guy, the Titans can easily move on. Busting on a third-round pick is not the end of the world, especially at the quarterback position. The San Francisco 49ers spent 3 first-round picks on Trey Lance, and they took him third overall in the draft. So they have more invested in him. There's more of a need for him to be the starter there than there is for Malik to eventually be the starter here. So far, through 3 days of camp, Malik Willis looks kind of out of place, but the raw talent is obviously there, and the Titans like what they've seen out of him as far as decision-making and the learning curve is concerned. They just want his timing to be better. I would expect Malik Willis to be the third-string quarterback this year, and I'd be surprised if he sees any NFL action in the regular season.
Well, as far as the entire team goes, especially getting to play in the AFC South, it's no secret. It's not the best division in all of the NFL when you're playing against the Texans and the Jaguars. How close are the Colts to, do you think, contending with Tennessee for the division with Jonathan Taylor, Matt Ryan, heck, even Nick Foles could be a part of that quarterback conversation in Indianapolis? How close are the Colts?
I think that they're really, really close. I think both sides are pretty even on paper. To me, the difference between the two is I think the Titans have a much better coach than the Colts do. I mean, Frank Reich has accomplished nothing in the NFL, and yet I feel like there's a lot of talk about Frank Reich as some offensive genius or some unbelievable head coach, and I'm not exactly sure what that's rooted in. As far as the Titans are concerned, Mike Vrabel's the reigning coach of the year. Again, Vrabel's been a coach for 4 years. He's made the playoffs 3 years, including a trip to the AFC title game where he outcoached Bill Belichick in the wild card round. The difference, though, is the schedule. Indianapolis, and this is where this first place, second place thing becomes an issue. Under a 16-game schedule, the difference in opponents is inside your own division would be 2 games. And that would all be conference related. Now it's 3, and it includes an extra out-of-conference game. The 3 games the Titans have that the Colts don't have are on the road at Green Bay, on the road at Buffalo, and at home against Cincinnati. So Tennessee, instead of Indianapolis' schedule, they're going to get Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. Meanwhile, the Colts for those 3 games will get Kirk Cousins, Kenny Pickett, and Mac Jones. And there's no guarantee that the Colts will win those games or the Titans will lose those games. So I think it's obvious that those 3 quarterbacks are a lot different than the other 3 quarterbacks, and those 3 teams are a lot different than the other 3 teams. 3 games can make up a division. 3 games can be the defining thing. The NFL, everybody wants to be right there. They want everybody to be right there at the end. We know some teams are really bad and some teams are really good. Right now, I'd say it's kind of a draw on paper. The Titans have the better coach, but a significantly tougher schedule this year.
Jared, thanks, man. We got to run. Appreciate you hopping on with us.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate it, Jared.
Jared Stillman, host of Stillman and Company, 102.5 The Game in Nashville, and a lot of good information there on the Tennessee Titans. Hey, you're going to get over to Joe's Grill and Cantina today. Friday specials. You never want to miss the Friday special. It's fajitas, $10 for chicken fajitas, $11 for steak fajitas. Get your sides with it, $4 for a flavored margarita. That's all day long at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Happy hour 3 to 6, fajita nachos, $5 during happy hour, and they drop the house margaritas down to $3. Joe'sFortSmith.com, the website. You can order there. Just download the Waiter app to do the same. Joe's Grill and Cantina, right across from Harps in Fort Smith. All right, going to wrap halftime up. The golden hour concludes after this quick break.
Whew, it's hotter than car lot asphalt. That can mean only one thing. It's time for the Rath Auto Resources Summer Sales Drive. Every summer, we set our goals to sell more cars than the year before and break every sales record. That means huge savings for you on a great selection of Rath Road-ready premium pre-owned vehicles, each one hand-picked and reconditioned in our Meineke Car Care Center. Don't let the lot fool you. When they're moving this fast, most of the inventory never makes it to the lot or the internet. No worries. Just call, click, or come by and let one of our friendly non-commissioned solution specialists help you find the perfect vehicle and work it all out so the price and payment fits your budget. It couldn't be simpler, and the summer sales drive makes it the perfect time to save. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with free AC checks, half-off brakes, and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, start driving better today and save big during the summer sales drive. Only at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
It's the all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet at Golden Corral. Come in and enjoy the endless breakfast buffet with carved ham, tender pork chops, pancakes, French toast, made-to-order eggs and omelets, and, of course, the biscuits and gravy. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 8 to 9:30, seniors get all this plus a drink for only $8.99. Golden Corral, 1801 South Waldron, Fort Smith. Order online at goldencorral.com for curbside pickup or delivery. Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
NWA Gold and Silver has moved to a new location in Fort Smith at 4600 Rogers Avenue across from Med Express. NWA Gold and Silver is always buying gold and silver, scrap, bullion, and coins. Plus, NWA Gold and Silver buys and sells jewelry of all kinds. Diamond rings, wedding bands, engagement rings, earrings, and more. Bring in your gold or silver today to the people that pay the most and have the best deals. NWA Gold and Silver in their new location at 4600 Rogers Avenue across from Med Express in Fort Smith.
Hey, where's the rest of the beer?
I'm probably out unless you clowns brought some.
Well, I've already had 3. Who's going to get more?
Order it from your phone.
From where?
Sody's delivers.
You mean where my girlfriend gets her wine and those cheese plates?
And if you don't want to drive, that's where you can order it. My free beer is gone.
Sody's now delivers inside Fort Smith city limits. Just order from mysodys.com or download the Sody's app and order from your phone. Sody's Wine and Spirits. Experience different.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
It's a big job just getting by with
9 kids and a wife. But I've been working, man, dang near all my life, and I'll keep on working. Long as my two hands are fit to use. I'll drink my beer in a tavern, sing a little bit of these working man blues.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
Quick wrap-up segment here. First, reminding you that if you're a fence builder, if you've got building experience, the folks at the Fence Man have a job for you right now, building quality fencing and gates. They'll offer great pay, a $500 sign-on bonus as well. So apply in person in Fort Smith at the Fence Man. The address is 1213 North 32nd Street. The Fence Man, an equal opportunity employer. What to wrap things up with here? You were reading some of the stuff from George Kliavkoff, the commissioner of the Pac-12 Media Day. I think it's just a day, and it's all going on right now. He's some of the quotes, like, he sounds like he's a guy that's backed into a corner. At least that's how it comes across.
Yeah, it does. I mean, just one quote I got from Dennis Dobbs, and I've seen Brett McMurphy and other people tweeted out. Kliavkoff said, "I've been spending 4 weeks trying to defend grenades from every corner of the Big 12. I get why they're scared. I get why they're trying to destabilize us." Like, he has been pretty open, honest. I mean, earlier today, he said, when I look at what's taking place in college sports, I believe we have collectively lost sight of the student athlete. He also says, my message today is one of optimism for the future of the Pac-12 and the future of our industry, which I don't know how optimistic he can be, having basically started out his speech with that of optimism and then went on to say how everything is not very optimistic about college sports. You can't say you're going to be optimistic and then be very pessimistic about it. That's not how things work there, buddy.
It's talking both sides of your mouth.
Exactly.
Really within like 30 seconds. It happens all the time. Well, I mean, that's about as much as we need to talk about on Pac-12 Media Days, right?
Yeah,
That's about
I'm good with it.
That would be about
Bad my Phil.
And we properly say goodbye to the month of July. We will be in August once we get back together, and that means football season is right around the corner with preseason camp getting underway a week from today. So have yourselves a great weekend and good luck on this Mega Millions drawing. I mean me. Good luck
Fingers
me,
crossed.
not you.
Oh.
For Drew and Maddie, I'm Phil. Have a great rest of your weekend. Get up, get out, get better.